Hello everyone, and welcome to this tutorial. Today, we'll learn how to build a wearable application that uses basic sensor features in Dev Eco Studio. As the first step, we'll create a HarmonyOS wearable app project in Dev Eco Studio. The setup is quick and beginner-friendly. Now, let's get started. Open Dev Eco Studio, click Create Project, select Empty Ability, and then click Next. Enter your project name and choose the appropriate SDK version. Here, I'm selecting 5.1.0 API 18 because my wearable device supports up to SDK 18. Also, make sure that under device type, wearable is selected. Finally, click Finish and wait for the project to initialize. Here you can see the Add Entry and Add Component decorators. Add Entry marks this page as the app's entry point, while Add Component defines it as a reusable component. Inside the build function, a default Hello World text is generated. You can adjust its font size, weight, or even change the text on click. Besides, we can also view the project through Previewer. By default, the preview shows a phone layout. Click the Previewer button on the right panel to open the live preview window. The system will compile the project. After a short wait, you'll see the preview result. Click the Enable Profile Manager on the Previewer toolbar and choose Wearable from Available Profiles to switch to Watch mode. You can also click the plus sign to zoom in the previewer. Now let's start to build a simple UI page to display sensor data. We choose heart rate sensor as sample. At first, let's define a variable to store the heart rate data. Then, we remove the original UI code and create our own container and text. We can adjust the text position by calling the attribute method in column container. Now, let's add a simple button to print the variable data in the console. After rendering, click the button and we can find the result in log. Then, let's create a folder to store the heart rate sensor class. In this directory, create a TypeScript file named HRSensor. Now, let's dig into the sensor class code. This code implements a heart rate sensor utility that subscribes to the watch's heart rate sensor. We import sensor from @kit.sensorServiceKit and encapsulate the heart rate response. HR listener is the listener signature that receives a numeric heart rate. We keep two static private members, heart rate for the latest value, and listeners as a set of subscribers. A set avoids duplicates and makes removal efficient. Subscribe method adds the callback to the set. If it's the first subscriber, we call start to begin listening to the sensor. We then invoke the callback immediately with the current value, so the user interface shows data right away. Unsubscribe method removes the listener. When there are no subscribers left, we call stop to turn off the sensor, saving battery and avoiding unnecessary background work. Start method registers sensor with heart rate parameter and handler. In the handler, we read either heart rate or value. Then it will update the internal heart rate, notify all subscribers and output log for debugging. Stop method calls sensor.off to remove the listener and logs the action. Once method is used to measure heart rate for once. It uses sensor.once to trigger a single callback, updates the cache, and returns the value to the caller. Let's go to module.json5 file. We need add request permissions to obtain the permissions required to use the services. But before that, you need to check what permission is required to use heart rate sensor. You can find the information on HarmonyOS Next documentation. After that, fill the missing resource value and then sync the project. Next, we'll write the permission request and heart rate listening logic directly in the index page. We start with 3 members: @manager to request runtime permissions, context for the current UI ability context, and HR listener, a callback that updates the page state with the latest heart rate. Request permissions and start method triggers the read health data permission dialog. If both @manager and context are available, we call request permissions from user and log the result for debugging. It is recommended to put request permissions into array so that we can easily maintain all permissions. Inside About To Appear method, we obtain the UI ability context via getUIContext.getHostContext, create the @manager, and request the permission right away. Then we call heartratesensor.subscribe to start receiving heart rate updates. When the page goes away, About To Disappear method unsubscribes with heart rate sensor unsubscribe, which releases the sensor listener, battery-friendly and safe. Alright, let's test our project on wearable device now. Click Tools, IP Connection, and enter the IP address of your watch. Here I use Huawei Watch 5 with HarmonyOS 5.1.0. You can find your watch IP address by clicking Settings, System, Developer Options. If you don't see Developer Options, go to Settings, Huawei Watch 5, and click Software Version a few times to enable it. Click the green triangle button to connect the device. Let's try to install the application. Click the Run button and wait. We find that the installation has failed since we didn't sign the signature. Open Signing Configs. A Huawei developer account is required to sign HarmonyOS project. Sign in your account, click Apply, and OK. You can find your signature in buildprofile.json file. Now let's click Run button again. Waiting a few seconds, you can find your project running on the watch. Click Allow on the application to use body sensor. Then click Start and wait a few seconds. You can find your heart rate data displayed on the screen. And the result is shown in the log as well. That's all for this tutorial. Thank you for watching.